Food preservation prevents the growth of microorganisms, such as yeasts, or other microorganisms, although some methods work by introducing benign bacteria or fungi to the food, as well as slowing the oxidation of fats that cause rancidity. Food preservation may also include processes that inhibit visual deterioration, such as the enzymatic browning reaction in apples after they are cut during food preparation. Food preservation methods range from the simple process of chilling to more complex procedures such as canning. Many are creative options that help you mix things up at home or sell food in various forms of packaging. Others help you keep your inventory in a commercial kitchen for much longer, which means you reduce waste and increase profit. The main objectives of food processing on a home scale, institutional scale, or in the food industry are similar. They include removal of unwanted matter from food. Unwanted matters may be inedible, indigestible or harmful to health, such as husk from grain, the skin of some vegetables, coconut shells, etc. The unwanted matter has to be removed by a different process including shelling, milling, peeling, etc. making food safe for consumption. Some food contains natural toxins which need to be inactivated, that is, trypsin inhibitor in soybean, fungal toxins such as aflatoxin in groundnut and grains, infected portions of food materials, green portion of potato is removed by visual examination, and chemical toxin and poison are discarded. Ensure the safety of food by using a process to remove toxins and heat to develop microorganisms and their toxins. Safe processing prevents contamination. Minimized nutrients loss. Nutrition is better retained by controlled processing conditions such as autoclaving, freezer drying and controlled heat. Nutrients loss due to processing is managed by adding extra vitamins. Processed margarine, butter, etc. are fortified by vitamins. Other processed food often enriched with vitamins, minerals and lysine. Extending the shelf life. Processing extends the shelf life because apart from removing unwanted, spoiled, and harmful matter and subjecting the food to temperatures outside the danger zone, all processes such as dehydration, cold storage, canning and pasteurization are aimed at preservation to food. Increased acceptability through fabricated foods. New products of uniform sizes and shape are being introduced in the market. They are made from low-grade commodities which are plentiful or good for health. Increased digestibility. Most foods are difficult to digest unless they are cooked. Cooking softens fiber, gelatinized starch, denatures protein, and makes food easier to digest. Foods need special kind of processing for preservation. Enhance flavor, color and taste. The acceptability of food depends on its organoleptic qualities. Processing techniques enhance the appearance of food and many techniques make food more tasteful. The browning crust is formed due to Miller reaction which gives bakery items its baked flavor, aroma and taste. Processing such as caramelization, fermentation etc. gives food a different flavor. Improving texture and consistency. Processes such as emulsification, gel formation and increase in viscosity are aimed to improve the texture and consistency of ready-to-eat food. The basic principle of food preservation includes preservation or delay of microbial decomposition, keeping out microorganisms, asepsis, removal of microorganisms, that is, by filtration, hindering the growth of activity of microorganisms, that is, by low temperature, drying, anaerobic conditions, and killing the microorganisms, that is, by heat or radiations. Preservation or delay by self-decomposition of food. This is brought about by destruction or inactivation of food enzymes, that is by blanching, and preservation or delay of chemical reactions, that is preservation of oxidation by means of an antioxidant. Preservation of damage caused by insects, animals and mechanical causes. When it comes to keeping food safe, food storage is a major issue. Food which is not correctly stored can spoil or become contaminated, which can then lead to making people sick. Food storage refers to food which is kept at the fridge, freezer, pantry, or in some instances a warming receptacle. There are very specific rules regarding the temperatures that food must be stored at, cooked to and reheated to, and if not followed, can result in becoming ill and increase the risk of contamination. Ensuring that food is properly stored goes a long way towards maintaining a high level of food safety and keeping yourself and others safe. One of the first things to check regarding food which has been stored in the use by or best before dates printed on the packaging. These dates will give you the most accurate indication of a food's shelf life. However, when a packet or can is opened, the expiry date almost always changes. Food should be stored in clean, dry, sanitary containers that are airtight if possible. This will help keep food for longer and reduce the risk of contamination. Food should also be stored off the floor when possible in order to help prevent against pests and other contamination. Always remember that it is better to be cautious when it comes to food safety, and if in doubt, throw it out. The different types of commodities will require separate storage condition in order to maintain or improve their condition or quality. These commodities are split up into the general categories of meat, fish, fresh fruits and vegetables, dairy products, frozen foods, tin foods, dry goods and cleaning materials. Meats, all sides, quarters or whole carcasses of meat should be hung in cold room at a temperature of 01°C with a space between them to allow free circulation of air, with drip trays placed underneath in order to collect any blood, to avoid the formation of rigor mortis. According to the type of meat, this period will vary from 2 to 10 days, permitting a chemical change to take place to produce more tender meat. Poultry and game should be hung at a temperature of 01°C with the expectation of venison or hares and rabbits that should be hung at a temperature of 3–4°C. Poultry should be stored on slated shelves at 01°C and game placed on metal trays at the same temperature. Fish, wet fish should be stored in a separate, special type of refrigerator with perforated non-rust trays allowing the fish to drain and permitting easy cleaning of refrigerator. The fish should be placed on crushed ice on a wet cloth, covered with another cloth and crushed ice being stored at a temp. 1. C. Shellfish should be placed in boxes covered with a wet sack and crushed ice being stored at a temp of not lower than 3. C. Both wet fish and shellfish should be stored for minimum time. Fresh fruits and vegetables. All types of fresh fruits and vegetables need careful storage properly in a room where there is no sunlight. The room should be dry, cool and well ventilated with bins for root vegetables. Fruits and vegetables deteriorate quickly and space should therefore be available to enable easy stock rotation. Soft fruits and melon should be refrigerated at 4-5 C. Dairy products. Most dairy products with the exception of cheeses should be stored in a refrigerator or cold room at a temp. 04. C. Milk should be stored in a container in which it is delivered and kept covered because it will absorb strong smell. Butter and eggs also absorb smells, especially those of fish, onions and cheese. Cheese should be stored in a cool place which is dry and well ventilated. Because of its strong smell, cheese should be kept away from other items. If whole cheese is to be stored for a period of time, they should be rotated occasionally. Frozen foods. There is a great variety of frozen foods in either an uncooked or cooked state, and these should be stored at a temp of at least 15. C to 18 C. The lower the temperature of freezer means food can be kept for a longer time. All foods should be kept frozen until needed, but time must be allowed for defrosting before issuing. Foods should be kept on plastic-coated trays in upright deep freezers and in plastic-type baskets in the chest type of deep freezer. Tinned foods. It should be stored in a dry, well-ventilated store to prevent them from rusting. Blown tins caused by gases should be discarded or returned to suppliers. Oxidation have taken place, either bacteria or tin plating being attacked by the food. Dented tins should be used immediately before they rust. DIY goods. Sugar, flour pulses, preserved foods such as jams, pickles, dried fruits, tea, coffee, etc. The conditions of storage for the same is dry, cool and well ventilated. They could be kept in bins with the lids on. Some dry goods require airtight lids, for example tea, coffee, etc. Cleaning materials. A separate store is necessary for all cleaning materials because of its strong smell and also the possibility of confusion, mistakes being made in there. Dry storage. Dry storage should be adequately ventilated with sufficient air circulation and desired humidity. It is advisable to keep non-food items away from the food supplies. Food items should be kept away from the walls, floors and ceilings. There should be proper utilization of space. Proper labeling of shelves should be done in order to have an easy issuing process. The temp maintained should be between 40 to 75. F. There should be traffic control for free movement of carts, etc. Frozen storage. It is walk-in freezer opening into walk-in refrigerators. The temp maintained should be between 0-20. C. Small individual packages should be made in order to avoid thawing of whole lot. Individual quick frozen items, for example fish. Advantage of packing fish by this method is that it does not stick to each other. It is not advisable to refreeze thawed items since appearance, nutritive value may be affected. FIFO system is followed. The rotation of food items to be controlled by the use of meat tags. Freezer burns occurs when fat under the surface becomes rancid, thereby causing a brown discoloration or patches. There should be an automatic mechanism to alert off the staff to any refrigerator failure. The efficiency of the refrigeration depends upon factors like type of refrigerator, type of compressor, extent of insulation, capacity of the storage area, amount of food and its arrangements in the storage area. For energy conservation, opening and closing of the door should be controlled. Plastic strip curtains are very valuable in conserving energy. There should be automatic temperature recording device. Keep the area clean to avoid moisture. Defrosting should be done regularly. The cooked food should be kept away from the raw food, and hot food should not be kept directly, rather it should be kept in a wide container so that it can get cooled fast. Dry storage rooms, meant for non-perishable foods like cereals, pulses, legumes, sugars, spices, fats and oils, packaged and canned foods, and for semi-perishables like underripe fruits and vegetables, potatoes and onions, bread and eggs. Temperature conditions: 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, room temperature. If the outside temperatures are too high, then the store temperatures have to be brought down by air cooling the door. The storage should be dry, cool, well ventilated and free from infestation to maintain quality of food. Good ventilation will counteract the effect of humidity and high temperature. While most non-perishables can be stored together in a storeroom, some semi-perishables require separate ventilated storage facilities, slightly cooler than the rest of the store. Foods which need to be held only for 2-3 days require a temperature of 10-15.5 degrees Celsius. Like breads, bakery products. If space allows, fats and oils should be stored away from the rest of the food. As far as possible, the non-perishables should be stored in airtight covered bins, cartons, polythene packs and cans. Transparent glass jars may be used for pulses and spices. Eggs may be kept in cardboard trays and cartons and consumed in 2-3 days. Cleaning supplies, which include detergents, brushes, mops, and antiseptic solutions, should be stored in separate section. Trash is always stored away from this door. In a small food joint, like coffee shops or kiosks, the dry store may have to provide space for storing all types of commodities. In such a case, care should be taken to ensure that food, equipment and detergents are placed in separate cabinets or shelves. Detergent may be added instead of salt. Low temperature storage. The principle is to maintain temperatures at levels which will inhibit the growth of microorganisms, and thus preserving food. Perishable foods have a high content of moisture, providing suitable humidity for microbes to thrive and for spoilage to occur. There are two types: refrigerated storage, temperatures between 0 to 10 Celsius. This is necessary for perishables like milk and milk products, leftovers of cooked food, fermented batters, doughs, green vegetables and fruits. All foods must be kept covered. Freezer storage. Freezer storage may be in the form of a freestanding cabinet or a separate cabinet in the refrigerator where the temperature is maintained from -20 to 0°C. All meat/fish/poultry, frozen veggies, ice creams etc. require frozen conditions. For successful freezing, it is necessary to blanch foods, cool quickly to freezing temperatures and pack in airtight containers and packets. A food removed from the freezer, thawed for use, must never be put back in the freezer as this increases the microbes manifold and make the food unsafe.